I'll start off by saying this is a W75 DORAD training 101, kind of a basic training. And then for those who don't know who I am, my name is John Oakes, and I've worked for Walter Wolf Glass side for about 16 years. I started in the field I was there for about 11 years, and then I came as a PM for SPD for the last 5 years. Last year I ran a Kaizen event for the W75 system and modifying and putting doors into it. And so I was asked by Rudy and Marco to do this presentation and just kind of going over things. And um, so I guess we'll get going. I guess the first thing I was going to talk about was I guess the different phases when you get asked to modify the W75 system or to put doors in it. And I guess obviously if they ask you to modify or add doors to it before fab tickets are done, then by far the easiest method would have we do shop drawings, do fab tickets, get it done in the shop, because that is just the easiest way of doing anything. After fab tickets are done, if your guys are still in the field, you're probably still going to do it, field modifications, but at least the guys are there, and at least you can kind of maybe modify it, while they're there. If you do have a modification and your field has demobilized, then it's most likely to get SPD involved. We just have a little more experience doing these kind of things, and it might just be easier. And that's probably the most likely occurrence, is because usually DORADs are due to occupancy or tenant requirements. And then the modifications will need to be done after the core and shell are complete. But no matter what phase you're in, there's going to be cost impacts. I mean, that's no doubt. And then we'll kind of go over, or any questions about that? Feel free to ask questions.
I have questions, Candace.
Okay.
So I just wanted to be clear, so I can understand. So this training is to add a door into an existing curtain wall, or is it to do the change order, or is it to do the fab ticket kind of door package? I guess I'm confused.
It is kind of an overview of the whole process. We're not going to really get specific in one part of it. It's more of just kind of, if you're doing a building that has a W75 system and they ask you to I guess I want to say modify existing drawings, like a design build kind of thing. This is kind of the steps you would take, or these are kind of the things you would consider when you're doing that ad. Does that make sense?
Sure, I'll just listen.
Okay, it's just kind of an overview of a door ad in the W75 system, I guess.
In an existing opening.
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
Not an existing opening per se, but an existing shell. Because the opening wouldn't be there, we'd have to modify the curtain
right
wall.
That's what I'm saying. Different language, same thing. Thank you.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Hopefully as we go through this, it will make a little more sense. But and then just pricing and lead times, and that's kind of the biggest, I think, got you for most of the W75 systems, because there's a lot to it, and a W75 system is not really made to be modified in the field, and that's what it comes down to. It's there's no removable I guess not stop, but removable horizontal, so you're gonna have to cut away and hack at things, and it's just really hard to make the opening. But the other thing too is, pricing and lead times. Lead times is another big one, because if you don't have, these days, as soon as you're doing a shell, you pretty much already got a tenant. It's either Google, Facebook, whatever. So they've already got occupancy. They've already got some plans going. So they're already like in the works for like what doors are going to need to be modified or moved. So we might have leftover parts, and that's what I'm going to get at. And when you have leftover parts, meaning stock lake materials, it makes it a lot easier, because then we just go off of the original as-built, and we can figure out what we need and what we don't need. And stuff like that. Um, what happens is if maybe an older building, say a couple of years old, and you're doing a modification, adding a door, you don't have leftover parts. That's where things you might need to get extruded. It might be a 30-week lead time. It's just going to be, customers don't always know that. And then, the minimum setup fees and stuff like that. But anyway, just pricing and lead times. We'll assume that the shell is complete just on this kind of exercise, and that's kind of the hardest part. And but there is a huge difference between when the door has to take place, obviously. So like I said, if the shell is complete, then it's going to be a lot more expensive than if they're adding a door before fabs are done. You know what I mean? Or it's in the shop. So stockling materials, obviously glass is a big lead time and cost. Figuring out the door locations. Sometimes they might ask for a door to be a specific place, and maybe it can't work there for some reason. Maybe I don't know, it's precast or some sort of attachments or conditions. Just stuff to look at, and subs you might need to involve, or maybe precast. There's, who knows, you might need a concrete sub, you might need an auto operator sub. All things to think about. But in my experience, the biggest impacts or cost impacts would be the glass or the frame materials. Just because Vericon is very expensive, and the lead times sometimes are pretty out there. The other thing too to think about when pricing is if wherever you put a door, safety glass, tempered glass, or laminated glass needs to be installed 24 inches within the door opening. So that's something to think about too, just to go over. The good thing is well, I guess I should go back to this. Have your field help you out with any pricing you might need, because there's no one who's going to know best than your field on what it takes to labor wise to do these kind of things, and what's needed and what's not needed. But yeah, is there any questions, or is it making sense, or is it going pretty well?
I think one thing that I've had a hard time is when do we really cut it off and say, okay, SPD needs to do this and SPD needs to price this. So I don't know where everyone else is at on that, but
it seems to kind of be, really, if your shell's done, have SPD do it. I mean, that's kind of what we've been doing is, I mean, the MT2 buildings, a lot of times, you guys are still finishing up, but the shell is pretty much being completed. I just think we're best suited for that kind of
I think that
modifications.
It would be nice if we could maybe standardize, like, any door add once the elevation is erected, that we just go to SPD and have them take over that entire scope. Yeah. I mean, if kind of like across the board, so we're all on the same page. The other thing is, I'm not sure if you're going to address it in this presentation or not, but when you guys do come on board, sometimes you guys use your own job number and sometimes you don't. That always gets messy. And
I know.
So
that's what I was gonna say.
So that's the thing of the past. Steve Watts was saying we won't be doing that anymore.
Awesome.
We won't be doing a change order on the big side and then using our number and then trying to transfer the money after the fact. And I guess messy. Now we're going to be strictly, if you have us on your job and you're still in the field, we're going to be using your number.
Perfect. That's great.
Yeah. And we are kind of still working on what you were saying is standardizing, like that we'll just do the doors. We are kind of working on that, and that's kind of was talked about, and we're still in the mix of that. But
cool.
And then just one other thing, Joseph, PK, Lars, and I, and a couple others are in a Kaizen right now, trying to standardize some change order quotes. And the first one we're working on is door ads, which is why PK sent out that email a few days ago asking for feedback. because pricing everything at different stages has different cost impacts associated with that. So there's a Kaizen going simultaneously that should also help address some of the things that John's going to talk about today.
Mhm.
Only got 2 people responded to that, by the way.
I didn't get that email. If you want to send it to me, I'm more than happy to do some feedback on that. But yeah, hopefully I'll kind of address a little bit more. But in the Kaizen event, we didn't make any green sheets per se on pricing these door ads. But we did kind of work on it, and I don't know if you guys have looked at those in the portal, the switches. But let's see, let's go to the next one here. Oh, scheduling. I don't really have a whole lot. I mean, you guys, scheduling is pretty much like, is you're going to add either a line item to your scheduling, or you're going to schedule your, with the GC, you're going to schedule your subs. I think that the biggest thing to really take from this is that you just need to schedule security or low voltage. Because if you guys are modifying or adding doors in the field, or shit, even if you're just doing doors in the field, it's a lot easier to have low voltage or security there while you're doing them, running wires, than it is after the fact, and doing pathways. I'm going to do a little bit more on that later on, but with this, I kind of made this presentation or this PowerPoint as kind of a reference later on for people maybe just trying to figure out door ads, and it's just kind of things, gotchas and things to kind of what to look for, you know what I mean? But anyways, that's kind of scheduling. You guys want, you have any question on scheduling? Probably not. All right. So procurements. And procurements, I guess, just like anything else, you'll need to, have drafting revisions. The biggest thing probably is their approval for the location of the doors and the configuration. Because when you talk to your structural engineer, he might have some feedback on the configuration, like your horizontals, structural items, screws, fasteners, blah, blah, blah. That's just stuff I've experienced that I've had to change. And I'll show you kind of some stuff later on in the presentation on what I'm talking about. But just get your structural engineer and calc package done, because sometimes there are some weird ones that, like one time we had a single door that went in between 2 verticals, no big deal. All we had to do is pretty much cut a sill runner. Well, it came back that we couldn't do that just because of where the bolts were on the sill runner, and cutting those pretty much was a no-no. And so we had to scratch that whole location because we couldn't make it work. And just stuff like that. It really, you don't want to get caught with that. So just make sure you talk to the structural engineers. It's kind of the biggest thing. And door hardware schedule approval, just, perform your metal and glass takeoffs. Kind of a nice one with procurement with Vericon is, I know Steve Larson and maybe Watts or someone, they talked to Vericon and said that if it was 50 lights or less, and you referred to them as replacements for a job that's like a year or 2 old, they could get those lights within 6 weeks or less. And we've utilized that a few times, and it actually worked pretty well. So just refer to them as replacements, and it seems like they work pretty well. So let me go to this real quick.
But if it was like super urgent, you could just get a piece of composite or like a piece from glass fab and throw it in there temporarily.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep. That'd be more cost impact, but yeah, absolutely. We've done that in the past too. Yeah.
Panel won't be that much.
Yeah.
Pennies.
Yeah. So the other thing too was, I guess the thing that I really want to talk about is, so during our Kaizen, I think I was kind of hinted on before, was that one of our biggest problems was lead time for materials, also how to price materials, because sometimes like you get caught in the middle where you might need stock lengths extruded, but you might have it left over from a job. So our estimators were kind of going in between, and that's just, it was a big mess. And so what we do now is we actually inventory W75 parts that will work for W75 system. And what it is we have parts that work for both captured and Inviso. And the cool thing too is Yuriko out of Laverne, she was on our Kaizen, and she actually made a parts library, and she even did some drafting library as well. So it's pretty neat. And this is all again part of the Swiss's W75 Swisses in the portal under SPD. But it's pretty cool. Like they're just like, for if you have a single in between, you know, in between two verticals, you know, it goes over all the parts you're gonna need, kind of shows you, and but it's pretty cool. And here's a pair that's going in between, and you have to cut the vertical. Tells you all the parts you'll need. And then here's the library. Actually, here's the parts that we have stocked in Shop A. And it's pretty cool too, because this part right here was a new part that we had a die made for, and what it does is it hooks to like a shelf for Inviso horizontal, but you can snap a stop on it so it becomes a captured piece. And none of these pieces, jams, verticals, whatever, none of them have thermal barriers or breaks, so they can be painted as well, and it's all mill finish. So if you guys do run into a bind, whether it's modifying for doors or for something else, you know, you can always talk to me or talk to us, and we could probably help you out with that stuff as well. But this is something I just want to talk to you guys about and let you know it's there, and it's for the company. Any questions on that?
No, I wish I knew about that modified chair. I could have used that a couple of times.
Oh shit, yeah.
It's not full length though. It's not full length. It's just like to fake in a captured face stop
Yes.
aesthetically.
This is stuff that we stock.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
it's part of the inventory for SPD. We don't physically, they're tracking it. We're not tracking it as part of an
Fine.
inventory program.
If we need a piece, we could get it from them.
just
So
email me.
John, so like if we have like a basic question on a door modification, we could always just call you directly and
Yeah.
either have you help us or help us go through, like if we needed some help with the customer or something. You guys are easily available, huh?
Oh yeah, of course.
Nice.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just call me or email me. Yeah, absolutely. Same with auto operators too. Call me, whatever, email me, and I can help you with that as well. Pretty much the whole door process on any of it, you can just give me a holler, and I'll help you
So
if
do
I
you
can.
guys work with interiors? Because my main contact over there for auto operators is usually like, I go to Ron Bondi for everything just because I know he knows.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a great contact. It's kind of off topic, but SPD does our own as well. We do
Oh,
not.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we don't do in-grounds. That's something that we're not for at all, and it's a waste of time, and we hate them. But we do overhead conceals and surface mounted. So
Oh.
yeah.
Does
So
that,
again,
Castro,
Amy-
did you know that?
Come on, man. Stay on topic.
all right.
Nope.
Next one.
Well, question, where is this? Is this list somewhere we can access? This list of parts?
Yeah.
What you just-
Yes, it's in the Swiss on our SPD
Oh, okay,
in the portal.
got it, thank you.
Yep, no worries. And then field installation, we'll keep going here. With the field, I'm just gonna say, I know this is a PM training, so you just get with your field guys. I count on my field guys so much. I was from the field and did these kind of things, and I still just count on them to tell me, you know, what the conditions are like, what they want to do, how they want to do it. And I just make sure that they have everything they need before, obviously have what they need before we schedule with the GC. Because a lot of these door ads are super critical for TCO. So it's really important to talk to the customer about these things. Make sure you have everything and there's no faulty issues. And then I guess just schedule security low voltage. I can't say that enough because that's just a pain in the ass to try and go back and run wires or do pull strings, any of that crap. It's just a nightmare. And then just hand over your power supplies. Get a tag sign for those because that's always a nightmare too. They always lose them and they cost a lot of money. But that's kind of it with field installation. I'm not really. I do have some pictures actually.
Hey, John, real quick, I got a question. The topic you just brought up about getting material like auto operators out to the field and then storing them in the field has been a little bit of a problem for me, at least on my last project. I mean, we figured it out. There's so many parties involved sometimes, like interiors and then the electrical guy, and you know, they'll say they stored it in a gang box, but there's 8 gang boxes out there. And by the time they were going to go and, you know, install that material, we had already pulled all the gang boxes. So what's the standard for, you know, storing material on site?
God, it's a great question. You know, for us, it's always been kind of we kind of wait till the last minute and then we try and get a tag sign for anything we sign over, you know, and just make sure that, you know, when it is lost or gone, that you know, we have a tag saying like, look, hey, we gave it to you guys. We can get another one, but it's gonna cost you. As far as auto operators, myself, we usually keep a separate gang box for any electrical kind of components like that, power supplies, you know, on site, just and let our foreman deal with that kind of stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, tag sign, that's the best I could say.
Just differs with, you know, each company. So with interiors, SPD, glass, I think it's just coordinating. But that was pretty much the only problem I had. I feel like we communicate well with each other in the different companies, but sometimes I had some actuators and a couple other things that just kind of disappeared out there. So
now, are you buying the auto operator parts yourself and have them stored out there, or is it just interiors storing them out there?
Interiors did, but they used our stuff. I mean, it's not their fault.
I gotcha.
I should have kept better track of it, but I was just wondering if there's.
No, there's not. They need to hold on to that stuff better. You know, it's not. That's kind of there is no standard for that one. Maybe we should come up with one. No, sorry. Nothing on that. I just want to take some pictures real quick because I know not a lot of people know exactly what it takes to do these. And like this is just these 2 pictures here are just removing like large lights, and it takes 4 guys. You know, you gotta take the vinyl out. You might have to, you know, take some walk blocks out, and then you gotta take this out with 4 or 5 guys. And you gotta roll it down. You gotta put it somewhere safe, and you gotta dispose of it later. Here's cutting the sill. Same process be cutting the horizontals. You know, a guy's gotta go there with the sawzall and just go at it. You know, be careful not to scratch any of the you know, existing material. They're gonna stay. And then I got some more here. This was just a cool one. So this vert was staying up here, but obviously there's going to be a horizontal or a header going down here. And what they do is they use this as a straight edge for the skill saw. So they'll lay it out. They'll put this, you know, the fastness to the vert, and then they'll use this as a nice straight even line so that it looks clean. And then there's prepping some jam adapters, putting some 1/8" shims on there. So when they put the fasteners on, it doesn't fall, you know, trying to get it on there. And this is just what it looks like kind of when they cut the horizontals and whatnot. Just some quick pictures. This is just kind of what it looks like afterwards. They're trying to take the rest of the horizontals and seals out. This is a notch for a new jam or vertical is going to go in, so it's nice and flush out with the edge, and then it can sit in this little groove right here. They're buttering up the with caulking for waterproofing, and then it's a little bit of what it looks like before and after kind of pictures. You know, that's just kind of what it looked like after deglazed it. This is kind of modifying it. And then this is kind of the opening is complete. So I guess keep any questions on that?
Yeah, I got a question.
Great.
Hey, do you have a checklist or a list of questions you have when you go out to look at the job for like the contractor and like say somebody new went out there to look at a job? Do you have anything like that?
You know, that's a great question. I do for auto operators. I gotta remember if I made one or not for the door ads. I might have. I'd have to check for that though. But that's a good one. We can come up with that for sure. I'll make a note of that actually. And you're talking about for door ads, right? For
Yeah, door ads, not auto operators. We're on door ads.
Thanks, Travis.
Don't be rude.
Seriously, man, I was kind of
Jeez.
offended by that comment.
John, I will let you know when Travis does his training to make sure you're there.
Thank you.
So
I'll
Travis
make that
at
one
all
for sure.
times.
I
Okay,
They
appreciate
can
that.
heckle him.
Man, tough crowd. All right. So key points and gotchas. I would just say the biggest gotchas that I've dealt with are just, safety glass within 24 inches of the door openings. Oh yeah, here I got some, providing pathways. That's a great one. Here's an example of the pathways. This is for an auto operator, overhead concealed operator, but you would have the same kind of thing for door contacts and headers. You'd have to make a hole here. And I've never done a job where there's not a door contact and a header. And I've never done a job where it's not on us to make the pathways through the verticals, the clips into the header. So we're trying to get this. So it would be great to get this for you guys when it's a planned door ad during the show, during your I guess D&E process to pre-drill these holes anyways. But we're kind of working on that still. But see, I don't know why I put that there, but let's see, where was the other gotchas I had? See, oh, that's what it was. Okay, so the other thing too is whenever you're doing a door ad and a modification on an existing shell, you might need some painted flat shears and painted brake shapes, and that's because when they cut, let's say this is the new horizontal they had to cut in, this obviously is a screw spline system. There's no clips, so we can't, and it's not removable horizontal. So we have to use L angles sometimes to refasten or install these horizontals. So what we do is we notch a little hole here and here. We kind of slide the horizontal on. Then sometimes they'll attach it by putting screws on the top here, flatheads, countersunk. And then what they'll do is they'll put like some 040 painted flat shears on top of that to hide it. But that's all stuff that you can talk to your field about beforehand, because they might do something different, or they might not have to, or it's just they might be able to not one side, they might be able to use a screw spline because they can take it apart or something. It's just different things. Let's see, what else we got. Oops. Finish warranty is a big one. Make sure you got the correct finish warranty on it. We've been hit by that one a couple times. Let's see. This was just an example of a condition where we had to run a horizontal all the way through, and it just for structural reasons the engineer came back and said that this is what we had to do, and the configuration, which they didn't really like, but we had no other way of doing it. This was a stairwell. This is a summary of number 12 fasteners, grade 5, that we also had to use to they were called out by the engineer to use here on these clips. Just an example of make sure your engineer gets involved, or an engineer gets involved. There's just some gotchas for some U channel that had to be painted. That's going to be exposed for the door ads. This is stuff that you might forget to paint to certified or whatnot. And then here's some little U channel. We stock this as well in the shop, but if you can use this, just make sure you paint this little insert. And any questions on that?
If we are handing it over to SPD to do the door ad, would you be contacting the engineer, structural engineer, or
Yeah.
do we need to do that?
We would.
Okay.
SPD would. Whoever's doing the actual door ads themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And then here's just the resources that you can use. Do you have any questions? I know Roberto Castaneda a few years ago made a little door 101 presentation. It's pretty nice. Goes over hardware, handy, and stuff like that. There's 4 Swisses in the portal under SBD, and that's the W75 systems. It's pricing, estimating, installation, PM stuff, and it's really good. I believe Robert Vaughn has some SBD pricing cheat sheets for this kind of stuff. At least for doors, he does aluminum doors. I know that. Oh yeah, and then we're working on an SBD W75 door at field installation process where we're going to try and simplify it or standardize it because everyone does it differently. It seems like, and they're just trying to make the best way. And that's it. Any questions?
Great. We totally appreciate you doing that and even giving us information about the auto operators. I appreciate that. So thank you.
I think I'm going to. I have a presentation for autos.
Oh, nice.
Anytime. Lisa, it was sent to Marco and Rudy. I don't know if you're aware of it, but
No, I'm not. If you could send it to me.
okay. Yeah.
Because I do have some holes to fill from
Sure.
other people that weren't quite ready.
Yeah.
Travis and Travis.
You gotta watch that guy.
So I know. So if you're, yeah, I'll get with you after and we can pick another time for you to do that. That would
Yeah,
be
I know
really good.
that's always a big deal to try and figure that stuff out. But yeah,
Okay,
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, no, that's it. Then
So
any
John,
questions or anything?
Your markup would be less than interiors, right?
Yes.
That was my question.
And
Yeah,
actually,
that was mine too. Are you providing auto operators now?
yes. We have
Just not the in.
Sorry, go ahead.
Just not
We
the
don't do
in-ground
in-ground.
floor
No.
closure.
I wish the company would not do in-grounds anymore. They're pain in the ass, but
I know, but they look better.
I know, and that's why we're still doing them. That's why they still do them. Yeah, so yeah, for the auto operators, all the profit and all the everything would go into your jobs.
Oh,
So
okay.
everything would be ran through your job number, everything. So I would purchase the auto operators on your job number. I would run a change order through yours or whatever you want to do, or if it's in the beginning, then the estimator would price it. I would go through you guys. So
Sweet.
yeah, I've been doing them SPD for a couple of years now, and
Really?
John,
Yeah.
believe me, you had Candace at profit. Don't worry.
well, hopefully profit unless we mess it all up, I guess. Yeah. So
Don't
we'll
say
go over that. We can go over that. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Let me know if you have any questions. Just give me an
Nice
email.
job, John.
Yeah,
Or
thank
whatnot.
you.
Yeah, no worries. I
thank
hope
you
it
very
Good
much.
job, John. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.